Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. And by NH Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. You know, I always say that the tire is the unsung hero of any vehicle. Your tire goes bad, you have a bad day, you're dead in the water. And the valve stem, Neil, is the Achilles heel of the tire itself. It can go bad in so many ways. What can go wrong?
Well, it can get knocked out from a rock, from a stick, from various things on the trail with your ATVs on the farm. The same thing can occur. The sun is probably the biggest enemy to your tire valves from rot. They'll just break off, and then you've got to go change the whole thing.
Now, how did your family experience trouble with the valve stem firsthand?
Well, Colby, my grandson, who I named the valve stem after, races ATVs. And he knocked one out one weekend, run his weekend. As you know, part of those wheels have a 24-bolt pattern for the bead locks. And it was just impossible for them, in the condition they were in, to change that valve stem in it. Needless to say, he was hacked off. And I just saw this thing. It just appeared in front of my eyes. And I told Colby, the next time you go out, you'll have a tire valve you can install from the outside of your wheel.
Let's see how it works.
This is the one I built for Colby.
Okay, that's the original Colby valve right there.
And then we get into the production, and we have this one we deem as an emergency valve. And this particular valve will fit your tractors and things, anything that has a 5/8 diameter hole in it. We have the little stubby, which is very small. It doesn't stick out too much from the small wheels, such as your lawnmowers, your ATVs, things of that nature. We have what we call the permanent valve, which I think is the best for overall purpose. Mm-hmm. We do have an aluminum version, anodized in the black, another permanent valve. These are all considered as permanent valves. This is what we call emergency valve.
All right.
It can be installed without a wrench. Ideally, this is a good product to have in your toolbox at all times, just like Band-Aids or anything else.
Sure, it's a Band-Aid for your tire.
It may not be your tire, it may be your buddy's.
Right.
We find people using them, and they'll equip the entire vehicle, especially in the ATV, UTV, with them to begin with. They'll just use them exclusively.
Well, how much stronger is this than a stock valve?
We advertise it to be 20 times stronger. It failed in lab tests on pressure to 3,100 pounds.
And we know it's going to last because this is your prototype. How long did that last in your vehicle?
41,000 miles in a front end of an F-150.
Unreal. You have the emergency valves. How many folks are actually using the permanent ones right off the bat when they get new tires?
In our shop and what we see sell online, the emergency does outsell the permanent because they can use the emergency for a permanent. It's not necessarily just for an emergency. It can be left in the tire.
All right, well, let's see how the emergency one works. How confident are we that this is going to work? Well, Colby, we have a perfectly good tire here. Go ahead and take the valve stem right off here. There's no turning back now once we get this thing off. All right, that can happen to anybody on the trail. What are you doing there?
I'm having to knock the rest of the valve stem back into the wheel just because where we cut it, it wasn't able to get the whole valve stem out of the wheel.
Okay, so once you knock it in, then you take your Colby valve?
Take your Colby valve. Basically, I've always told people you put in the wheel just like an old John boat plug. After you insert the valve stem into the wheel, make sure the rubber's flush with the face of the wheel. You just simply start tightening it down.
And that makes the rubber seal expand in there?
And as it expands, it just tightens itself into the wheel. And it starts showing the threads and the valve core and everything you need to put air back into the tire.
Your valve stem is good to go. Just add air. Very cool. Thank you, Colby. And if you want to find the Colby valve for yourself, go to Amazon, go to colbyvalve.com, pick one up, carry it in your toolbox all the time because you never know when you're going to need it. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings coming up, so do not go anywhere.